Hi everyone, delonewolf here, welcome back for some more EVE Online, and in today's video I'm going to take you guys on a blueprint copy run. I'm making this video sort of for perhaps newer players and viewers that haven't seen this part of the business just yet. I think it could be interesting information, although I must also admit that this is only for people with reasonably deep pockets. You really must see blueprints, especially large blueprint originals, as long-term investments that cost a lot, because it is specifically that cost that creates a barrier that also creates your economic opportunity. So first of all, let's head towards the station. I have most of my big blueprints in Lower Debble because it's an NPC station that can actually provide research facilities, and that means that I can create these BPCs all the way out there without having to have it in a structure, which is risky, as we all know at this point, at a cost of efficiency, at a cost of ISK as well, because they are more expensive to create, but you know, you get the safety out of it. That's a choice that everyone has to make. And so when it comes to these blueprint copies, basically what you are doing is you are like a major investor. You're buying really big and expensive blueprints like the structures, like capital ships, and then you start creating copies of a single run of these so that players with smaller pockets can still potentially make their own orca, their own structure, and all of that good stuff. The other advantage of copies is, of course, that you could also run several jobs of the same type without needing to buy multiple blueprint originals. And so as a result, there is a little bit of value in those blueprint copies, which is what you're of course capitalizing on then if you are constantly creating them, which is what I'm doing. So here you can see the next set of jobs is done, except for the Thanatos blueprint. I'll basically be back in 4 hours or so this afternoon, and then I'll do more of these. So let's go out there and let's grab them. Just need to do one more jump and then we get there. It is not something that you can do just anywhere, and so that traveling is probably also a little bit of an economic aspect to this blueprint copy business, because well, there's not that many. It's plentiful, but there's not that many NPC stations out there that do provide the copy facilities. So what I'm actually doing is I am going to dock there first, because I have like a lot of blueprints and a lot of stuff actually in Lower Debble already. And the advantage of only delivering your jobs when you're in the station itself is that everything just goes to the back of your inventory there, and so you have an easier time finding your copies and getting them into your ship so that you can then transport them to a trade hub. That's also I think an aspect. Let's say that like me, you are making a lot of BPCs for a single ship, right? I'm making 5 BPCs for an orca. I'm not going to sell that locally, right? That would take forever. You have to sell these through contracts. They only last for 2 weeks, so you have to go to a trade hub where the market's large enough so that you can actually try and sell these. And in fact, this week I'm planning to switch it up, because I've been overproducing the orca quite substantially. So now if you go to the inventory and then to the item hanger, you can see that well, I've got some apparel stuff, and then here are a lot of blueprints that we have, including some BPCs. Oh, that's true, that I'd made before, I think. And so here is then the problem, right? You can see that now all these BPCs are in between everything, and if I would have delivered in space, you know, they would have just been part of all of that. But now that I'm here, I can go to industry. I can start delivering these jobs. So just click, and look at that. Very nice, all the way at the bottom. Super easy for me to pick them up, and then to do this, just control click on all of the BPCs that are a little bit lighter. Grab all of these, and then we'll put them in the Damavik, and we are ready. If you want to then do the exact same jobs, you can just double click all of these and set the blueprints up. Now we are going to do the freighters because I do think that these could become more important with all the industry changes. More complexity also means more stuff that needs to be hauled from point A to point B. So in fact, for this week we are going to do all of the freighters, but then we're gonna skip the orcas Although, well, no, I think I've got plenty. We'll take a quick look at that in Amar itself, because, well, if it gets a redesign, that could be interesting. There could be a rush on Orcas, of course. So we have to. It's a business as well. You have to try and find the market, time the right options. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm also going to create a couple for some of these structures, and these are a little bit different, right? What I try to do is time it at around a week, so that every week I can grab the BPCs, bring to the market, try to sell them. And for the structures, you can see that it takes 7 days to create a two copies with a single run on it. And so that's also a little bit of management that you have to do. Try to find your schedule that works the best for you. But yeah, we're talking big and expensive BPCs, so these will always take quite a long time to produce. Not like you can on an hourly basis spew out BPCs, bring those to the market and make a profit. When it's that easy, anyone can do it, of course. So let's go. Let's put in a couple of these as well. I'm actually going to do an Athenor as well. That could be really popular because of potentially the moon mining revalorization that's coming in. And then we've got here, well, that's a 3-for-1. So this is clearly the cheapest one for the Raitaru. So we'll do that as well. A little bit of structures. And then if I go back up, let's do, I think there's the final freighter. Where are you, big BPOs? So here's some Charon, Fenrir. Oh no, we have all of them. So we have to choose some combat ships as well. And I guess we'll do more dreadnoughts, or do we take some carriers? Maybe we'll do some carriers this time as well. So Thanatos already running. I think we'll just take a Charon, which takes 11, almost 12 days to complete. So here I am, you know, getting the balance a little bit wrong, but we'll figure all of that out in good time. And there we go, we have our 10 jobs running. We're creating blueprints for a couple of structures, a couple of freighters, and a couple of carriers. And this one will be replaced probably by the Nidhogger when that one is done. And then we'll see about managing all of that good stuff. Next up, closest trade hub, which for me is Amar, set destination. Let's go out there and we have our valuable stuff in the cargo hold, although for the system it's valued at nothing. So if I click on this, you can see that here it's valued at 0 ISK. There's actually a little bit of value in this, since you know, not everyone can afford a Charon BPO, and so that's the market that we are trying to tap. As I said, it's probably two markets, right? It's more tiny corporations and solo players that want to make their own freighter carrier structure, right? They'll definitely buy a single BPC at a reasonable price, and then you have maybe larger alliances that really want to build this stuff in bulk. They will want a lot of these as well, just so that they can fill up all of their industry potential without needing to buy like 10 BPOs or something like that. Quick look at my contracts then. So we go to finance and then to contract. That's the place where you sell this. You can see what I'm still trying to sell is a Fenrir blueprint right through and two Raitaru blueprints, and I would say around 10 days ago is when I did my previous run. And so we can make, on the start page, I should be able to look at, we can make 18 more contracts for these blueprints, and I'm only carrying like 9 of them, so we will have to hopefully have a couple of extra ready in Amar, which I think we do. And it shows that, yeah, those last 10 days actually I sold a lot. Usually I think with the 10 that I make, that's around right for a 10-day cycle. I can sell 10 blueprints, have my potential contract, and so that also means that I can be a little bit aggressive here and there in the price, or also have a couple where I'm seeing low supply and then decide, you know what, here I'm gonna try to take a big margin and I'm going to ask a very competitive price, perhaps even a higher price than a couple of the other contracts that are available on the market. And this is really that business that is quite different, in my opinion, from the open market, right? Trading through the contracts is a lot more experience-based, feeling-based, because you don't always have all the information on hand immediately. It's a lot less, you get a lot less like transparency, such as daily trading volumes, every single order on the market, not just within a certain station, but also basically everything within the region. All of that is very visible on the market. When it comes to contracts, yeah, it's a little bit more of a learn as you trade experience, with potentially, of course, as a result, some very nice opportunities, especially when CCP comes out with new stuff. So if you really want to push this, which I'm kind of thinking about at the moment, I'm not sure if I would really have the time and the energy to do that, is that if we go here for show info, and then we should have, you can see here, what would be very useful for someone that wants to make his own Charon is not to just have the Charon BPC, but also 11 capital propulsion engine BPCs, or a single one that has 11 runs, one for 13 for capital armor plates, etc. And then in a new industry cycle, it's going to be a lot more complex, and so perhaps they even need some reaction BPCs, which maybe they don't necessarily need, but you can ask a premium for that, and maybe someone that is willing to buy the whole package doesn't plan to do those reactions, that they'll just buy the whole package anyway, because of how easy it then is to still have everything else available, and as a result you could maybe ask for a bigger premium, get more profits out of the BPCs that you are created. That's something that I may look into at some point, create full packages under the new industry rules, which would require an investment of BPOs for the new reactions and all of that good stuff as well, but it has, I think, a lot of potential. You're putting the effort for all of that convenience can actually be worth a decent chunk of ISK. So that's an idea I'm playing with. It's become more complex, and so there's definitely, I think, an opportunity there to take away some of that complexity for those smaller players, you could say newer players, but that do want to get in on that adventure and create their own complex industry chain in order to create the ship of their dreams. So maybe there's a business idea there. In the meantime, we are finally almost arriving in a Mars space. Obviously, BPCs, they don't take a lot of room or weight, and as a result, doing that in a fast little frigate is definitely possible. Which, by the way, while we still have a couple of jumps to go, maybe a quick question for those that are still sticking around at this point of the video. I have some plans in the works for a structure for myself, basically, and it's gonna be in a different spot where I don't have everything that's available here. So I'm actually looking for some transport ship ideas. I already have like the fast TP with the Minmatar one, but you know, if as you scale up, I would love to know if you guys have like different types of transport ship that you use for different types of bulkiness of items. So really small, of course, it's probably gonna be an interceptor that's like bubble immune or something like that. But after that, you know, do you guys have different transport ships that you use depending on the scale, all the way up to, for instance, of course, a major freighter or something like that for minerals? I would definitely be interested in that, because if I manage to keep going with the plans that I have, I may need all of those options available in the new place that we are potentially going to put down a structure. So I would love to hear that. Just give me the hull. That would be kind of interesting. So Emperor Family Academy is coming into view. Here is the trade hub, and then hopefully we have enough to put up 18 BPCs, although I'm probably a little bit late as well at this point, since with the industry changes we are expecting lower demand. But yeah, this is a business for me that I'm running. It's decently passive. As you can see, I have to do this once every 10 days, somewhere around that. That is definitely very doable. And so my goal is to keep this up and running to its maximum potential for me, which means filling as many of these blueprint copy slots as is possible. Now, all of this stuff coming from CCP with all those daily logging gifts, that's not so good. And here is my overproduction of Orcas. So obviously we have too many of these. And don't I have any structure BPCs left in here? All right, interesting. I thought I would have more, but I don't. So Let's first of all put up the blueprints for the other stuff, and then all I have to do is find in contracts. That's how I tend to look for the going price at the moment and how much supply there is. Then I change. Well, I could maybe do current constellation just to get. I'll try that actually. Normally I just do current station, right? This is the trade hub, and this is where players come. As you can see here in Amar, these are going for 70 million ISK. And then here we have one of these packages, probably Capital Computer Component Systems. Yep, exactly. That's going for 66 million. So you do have to compete with these, but the recognizability is quite different. So it's a choice that you have to make, of course. That setting in the market, which is also part of the complexity and part of the opportunity. So unlike the regular market, where it's just one good and it's always one good here, right? You also have to compete with packages and keep those in mind. So let's do a quick look at current system. That's the exact same thing, but then let's do current constellation, because maybe there's nothing outside of this range. So we're talking 70 million for the BPC itself, but then we're competing with these packages. So I am going to undercut that, and honestly, that's just a crazy good price. So we're going to try and sell this for like 49, get like the next big number down. I can just press next, and then we'll try. If I can sell this, that's just a massive amount of ISK for a single contract and for a single job run. So there we go, that one is there. Then we'll take a quick look at these freighters, finding contracts, current station, quick search. So these are going for 15 million and then 11 million, 34 million and 50 million for a package. So that's a lot more expensive, and these will all be useless after the industry changes hit. So you're not necessarily competing with these directly at the moment, but yeah, 11 million, a little bit less expensive than what we are used to. So I'm probably going to compete with this, but very closely. I'm gonna do a 10.5, stay above 10. Try to not completely crash the market down. If you feel pressure to get rid of it, yeah, I would go 9.9 or something like that. But on this one, 10.5 does make sense to me. That's still a very good margin, and probably the best seller. Also, availability is not that great. Next up, we've got the Fenrir. And then in all regions, lowest price 9 million, including here in the Mar. So if I go current station, yeah, it's going for 9 million, which is quite low. But that's the reason is supply. Look at how nicely this market works here. And then a 3.6 billion for a BPO. Someone is getting rid of that one, probably after researching it. Very nice that I see this as well, since I'm making this video to try and explain potentially newer players out there that have that same economic goal as their fun aspect for EVE Online. This is definitely one for me. I'd rather build stuff up than blow it up or lose it or things like that. This is also a way that you can make ISK with research, is you can buy a BPO, then put your time into improving it. So this one has 8%, so almost complete material efficiency, and 16% time efficiency, and that is worthwhile. That is also time invested. That's worthwhile for, this is obviously for larger groups that then are able to make Fenrirs at, for better material efficiency and quicker times. So, he's trying to sell for 3.6 billion, which is probably a lot higher than you have to get a 0.0 BPO out there. So that's also another way to make ISK with research. But yeah, we're talking 9 million here, 9.5 for the next one. I don't want to keep crashing the price either. Availability is a little bit high for this one, but we're just gonna go for 9 million as well. And that should be okay. So that one is done. Then we get the obelisk. I think this one is decently popular. Let's cancel. Let's take a quick look at that. Find in contracts. Current station. Man, Amar is definitely lower than most of these at the moment. Also going for 9 million. So probably someone that's doing the same thing that we are competing with. Eventually, maybe I'll move my BPC business to our new place as well. But for now, I'm just going to go straight in and compete with him as well. Just the same pattern so that we still have a margin. like that. And then we've got a Providence that should be a little bit better because it is the Amar one in Amar space. Basically a little bit easier to get those skills. We should see higher demand for that, and that's immediately translated in a price range of 19 million to 44 million. And here I'm going to be a little bit aggressive. I'm basically going to put this one up for 15 million. They'll immediately see, man, that's actually a little bit more in line with the other freighters, so that looks like a very good deal right off the bat. Not unreasonable, right? This is double the price of the other freighters, so this one is like 50% margin on most. You know, if you do quick math in your head, I think that one will sell straight away, and that's still a very good margin. And then here is my problem. We have all of these Orca BPCs, which is quite a lot of them. So let's get started. Finding contracts, current station. Let's take a look at that. And do I still have any of these up and running? No, I don't. But look at the competition, the price crash that's happening here, down to 8.5 million. So we may just be right at the tail end of that speculation cycle, of that rush to create Orcas at the current industry rate, and as a result there was also probably a rush on production of these as well, which has crashed the market down. Normal price for an Orca BPC around 12.5 million, so this is clearly undercut by quite a little bit, and that does, you know, make me hesitate on what I should do for these. So I'm gonna try to get rid of 3 more, and we're just gonna go crazy at 7.5, maybe try. That's something that I could do here. We're gonna put some up at 7.5. Basically to try, I could completely flood it and try to discourage all competition here. So by putting a very big, massive wall of almost all of these BPCs at 7.5 million. But I don't want to completely spook the market either. So let's maybe do a couple. That's going to be my tactic. Honestly, we're going to try and do that. But as a result, I'm also going to spread that out over a couple of days. So I'm going to do 3 of them now. No, maybe even 5 of them. I'm going to do 5 of them now. Put them up for 7.5 million. It's still a profit, but clearly I have been overproducing these by quite a lot. So I need to do 1 more, I think, or 2 more actually. Like that. That puts it at 4, then 4, 4 and 2. No, I'm actually gonna stop here. 4 is a good number. So now my plan is we're going to try to basically get Tonde Tool, Doug Baston and all the others to stop sending these blueprints to Amar, and then slowly drive the price up as my supply dwindles. How am I planning to do that? I just put up 4 of them at 7.5 million, which is probably like the lowest margin you can find anywhere. Let's actually do a quick anywhere search. So 7.5 million. So these are my 4. Then in Jita, there's quite a bit of selling happening as well at around 8 million. Heck going for 9 million, but that starts to go a little bit back up here. To Dixie 9.4 a couple. Then we come back to Jita, where at 10 million there's quite a bit of competition. And then here's Amar again at 10 million. So this is the smaller market. So I think we can potentially go back up in price decently quickly. Now I'm undercutting everything and everyone with these 4. And my plan is basically in like 3 days time or so, we're going to put up another 4 at 7.5 million, so that it becomes a wall that lasts for a certain period of time, and so that when they then come to market and they see, all right, I mean, this guy is just making so many of them, constantly bringing them to the market, there's no reason for me to compete here. I'd rather go out to the Minmatar stations or maybe even to Jita, in order to try and get a quicker sale going. And as a result, I'm hoping to then artificially create scarcity, which will create a better opportunity later down the line. I've got plenty of ammo, so we're going to do another 4 after that, and then maybe to spread it towards that 2-week margin, a little bit later, another 2, another 2, another 2. So we have plenty of ammo in order to try and get that doing. We also to get that going. We also have plenty of slots left in my contracts to do that. Right, 9 more contracts, so that should be fine. Actually, I should yeah, I'll do 333 then for the next ones, and then see if any of them sell and keep plugging those gaps. And in the meantime, of course, while everyone will think that I'm completely crashing that market, what I will be doing is bringing other BPCs that I'm producing, and then a couple weeks down the line we can slowly try to rebuild that Orca BPC with hopefully less competition in MR. And all of this type of stuff is absolutely allowed in EVE Online as well. You can try to undercut your competition, drive them out this way. This is economic warfare, and that is actually my plan, looking at the state of the market here at the moment. And that's the video I want to share with you guys. This is something that I do, as I've said, on a 10-day basis, pretty much bringing those blueprints, trying to find the best prices, maybe even try to compete with some other players that are doing the same type of business. And this is a lot of fun for me, and definitely something that you could do as well for a rather passive way of making ISK in EVE Online. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and as always, I'll see you next time.